2025 is just around the corner. It's going to bring us some massive new hardware releases alongside some new games that we've been waiting for years. But really, I'm just scared for one particular month. Let's go. Let me know what you're excited about in the comments down below. We'll start with the very first major game that is launching. One that I'm personally very excited for is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, this is a direct sequel to Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, and it's really the first big hitter to come in 2025, right at the start of February, launching on February 4th on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 will continue Henry's story in 14th century Bohemia in the open world setting. What's different about KCD 2 compared to most other RPGs is that this isn't a fantasy game, it's simply a medieval RPG. And what I mean by that is there are no magic, no crazy off-the-wall things that are going to happen. You're simply just a peasant with a sword, and that's kind of what makes it special to me personally. It's one of the best things that KCD 1 did, and it's something that Warhorse Studios try to stick to closely, is that realism from those medieval times. And this one is shaping up to be an absolute hit in early 2025, really developing a lot of those systems that were created in KCD 1 in that open world. Not only is the open world beautiful, but you can interact with the NPCs in the world in a very sandbox and sort of free-flowing way, where quests will start and finish in different ways with multiple different outcomes and story choices that you can make along the way, as well as different ways you can engage with the systems, from stealing things to pickpocketing and all those typical things that you would expect in a sandbox-style RPG like this. And what's great about this is all these systems were present in KCD 1, it's just that they've gone through a massive overhaul for KCD 2, and I've played a tiny little bit of it, and I'll link my preview right here. Assassin's Creed Shadows, originally Assassin's Creed codename Red, has been pushed out of 2024 to now be launching on Feb 14, 2025. This is set in feudal era Japan, featuring dual protagonists Yasuke and Naoe. Now, what you can expect here is that typical Assassin's Creed modern era gameplay, except split between two characters, with Naoe filling that more ninja, assassin, stealthy character role, with Yasuke being a bit more unique and focusing on that samurai action and full-fledged combat that you can expect from some of those more modern games as well. Now, there is a lot of new features that are coming with Shadows, being namely the new weather system that affects terrain, such as, say, during the winter, ponds might freeze over so you can't like swim through them, or other ways that'll change the environment depending on the current season, so certain scenarios will play out differently. Now, it has also been announced that there will be co-op mode coming after launch, so you could have someone play as Yasuke and Naoe, and a lot of the new gameplay that they have been releasing looks really good, and I can't wait to see more. But there is also a lot riding on this for Ubisoft. Even if you're not a massive Assassin's Creed fan, this is definitely a title to keep an eye on, both to see how it lands with gamers and how it affects the future of Ubisoft. Technically launching on February 18th, but also launching on February 13, if you do buy the Premium Edition, is Avowed. Now, Avowed is from Xbox and Obsidian Entertainment, and should be on the radar of anyone that watches this channel. This is a fantasy RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, but it won't be a traditional open world game, or even like the old Pillars of Eternity games that were more CRPGs. Instead, we're focusing here on larger open zones, a little bit like Outer Worlds, but more structured similarly to a Skyrim in terms of its world and being that sort of first or third person open-ish RPG that you can expect. Now, Avowed has a little bit of a different flavor to things that Obsidian have done in the past, with a much stronger focus on combat, play, and feel. And this is relevant in a lot of the preview footage that we have seen, the previews that have come out, in a lot of people saying that the combat here has a really solid amount of impact and feels really good, with a lot of diversity in terms of its arsenal, from pistols to swords and shields and magic abilities, as well as being able to dual wield them. So there's going to be a lot of flavor to be had in the combat system alone. But being an Obsidian RPG, you can expect a deep companion system along with choice and consequences, as well as some absolutely stellar writing that I can't wait to experience for myself, either on February 18 if you're waiting for the actual release or it to come to Game Pass, or on February 13 if you buy the Premium Edition. You can get access to it 5 days early. Now, I would also expect that during the Xbox Direct event early in the year that they typically do in January, that we'll get some more information about Avowed, plus some other games they're about to talk about, like The Outer Worlds 2, which, fun fact, Avowed isn't the only game that Obsidian are cooking for 2025, which I was quite shocked about at the Game Awards. The Outer Worlds 2 is a sequel to The Outer Worlds, which is a single-player sci-fi RPG that was set in the Halcyon system, which is far away from Earth. It's set in a futuristic, dystopian dystopian version of our current day history, where our history diverged from the Outer Worlds history. So things are different, but you might recognize some historical figures from our modern day history. Now, this new game will be in a new part of the galaxy, the Arcadia colony, which is engulfed in a factional war, and you play as a character just called the Commander. Now, just like in the Outer Worlds, you'll have plenty of stats to manage, choice and consequence, and companion system, and all that great stuff that Obsidian do really well. Now, they did promise in the trailer that this RPG will be twice as big as the original, with more action, more weapons, and more graphics, according to the trailer. So not much else is known at this point, but again, keep an eye on that Xbox Developer Direct if it does get announced, as I would definitely expect to hear more about it then. Continuing our February month of death is Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, Wilds is a follow-up to the hugely popular Monster Hunter Worlds, where you can expect some very similar systems and gameplay to Worlds, except now you can play either alone or up to 4 friends, or with AI companions. And one of the major new features in Wilds is what Capcom is calling the living world. Now, you'll experience 2 distinct seasons in the massive ever-changing environments found in the game. Fallow, a period where hungry predators roam the land for food, is followed up by an ecologically altering inclemency, leading to a rich period of plenty. Now, these same locales may look completely different depending on the 2 seasons, and creatures will interact with each other and fight and have their own unique movements and behaviors naturally in this environment based on the seasons and the way that they interact as their own species, as well as with the other species, in this more open world-ish setting than previous Monster Hunter games. So your Palico and your Sekrat mount will have plenty of new tools to take with you into this new world, and I did get to see some of this action at the Summer Game Fest, and I will link my preview video there, and there was a beta that did happen last year where you may have actually played it yourself. Now, just a quick shout out as well, there is Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, and Civilization 7 that's also launching in February. February is going to be a massive month. Let me know in the comments which of these games you plan on playing. But that's not all for February. This one isn't launching in February, but it does have a network test. That is the Elden Ring NightReign. Now, this is a standalone spin-off title to Elden Ring that is a co-op open world survival roguelike game. That means nothing really, but what that means is that you will play as one of 8 defined characters. And this game is also set in a parallel world to Elden Ring, taking place in a different variation of Limgrave called Limveiled that will change dynamically each run. Now, each run will last up to a 3-day cycle in this roguelike setting where enemies, bosses, dungeons, etc. will change per run, culminating in a final boss at the end of day 3. Now, these challenges can be tackled single player, solo, or with 3 people. Unfortunately, at this stage, they have announced you can't do it with 2. It's either solo or with 3. This is definitely one to look out for 2025, even if you're not a FromSoft or Elden Ring fan, as this is quite a different game for From Software to really put out. And I would say it's one that I would be keeping on my radar, even if I'm not directly interested in it, because not only will I have friends that would probably be interested in this, but also just to see where it lands with FromSoft doing something completely different to what they have done in the past. Not traditionally a games as a service sort of title, as there's going to be none of that microtransaction battle pass sort of thing here, but just doing an online game like this, very interesting to see how this lands for From Software, and it's one that I'll be watching with great interest. But that network test will be happening in February, and you can actually sign up for it in January, so do keep an eye on their Twitter if you are interested. Moving off to some games that we know are coming but don't have definitive dates, we'll start with Ghost of Yotei. This is a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, featuring a brand new main character set about 100 years after the original game. Now, at this stage, very little is known about this sequel and what's going to be changing, other than the fact that you're going to assumedly be dual-wielding katanas that we do see in the trailer, which looks like a ton of fun. So we can probably expect some new combat stances here, while still sticking to that incredible combat system from the original, plus that open world setting. No release date here, other than the fact that it'll be a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And a minor hot take, I don't think this is all PlayStation is cooking for 2025, so I would be expecting some more announcements coming from PlayStation in the near future. Doom: The Dark Ages is a single-player action FPS prequel to Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. While again, not much is known at this point, but what's different about Doom is that we kind of know all we need to know, right? It's the Doom Slayer, he's back, he's going to slay some demons in a very violent and brutal manner, but now he has a kick-ass shield, which looks like a ton of fun, and that's kind of all I need to know to be in here. Now, we'll probably hear more about this at the Xbox Developer Direct as well, probably a release date as well, so do keep an eye on this throughout January and the early months of 2025 if you are interested in Doom the Dark Ages. Borderlands 4 is coming in 2025 as well. Now, I'm a big Borderlands fan, and while I really enjoyed Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, it's good to be returning to Borderlands with a new sequel. Not a ton is known at this point outside of the announcement trailer from the Game Awards, which was announced to be coming in 2025. What we do know is that there will be 4 new Vault Hunters, seemingly a new planet to contend with, and more open world style environments compared to the smaller regions that you'd be used to from the previous Borderlands games. You can expect a wide range of weapons and enemies to fight as usual, but honestly, my personal opinion here, I kind of need to see more about what's actually happening here and what's due. The trailer just looked like more Borderlands, both graphically and just in terms of its overall setting, which isn't really exciting to me. It might be exciting to you, but what I want to know with 2K and Gearbox and what they're cooking with Borderlands 4 is what's actually changing. Like, how are they really going to spice up this franchise? Especially after that movie, we really, really need to spice up this franchise. All right, moving on to Crimson Desert. Low-key, every time I look at this name, I think of Crimson Desserts. It just makes me hungry. I don't know why. Crimson Desert.
Must get
Crimson Desserts. But Crimson Desert is developed by Pearl Abyss, who made Black Desert Online. Now, this new open world action adventure is a single player take on a lot of the systems and combat from Black Desert Online, but obviously fleshed out in a brand new way, being that this is a single player adventure. Now, the combat looks absolutely insane here and a ton of fun, but also the environments look really diverse and there's massive scale in this world with both flying and land mounts to travel on and explore. Currently slated for late 2025, and they have been pretty open with showing a lot of footage for this game. I wouldn't be surprised if this does get pushed to 2026, considering the crazy amount of scale and gameplay depth that they're really pushing for, but this is really one to watch for any RPG or open world fan coming in 2025. So if you're counting, that is 10 games, but I've got more for you, and the next one probably isn't coming in 2025, even though they have said it is, but I don't believe them. That's Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, by the way, we can't use any actual trailer footage for Grand Theft Auto 6 because Rockstar claims every video with GTA 6 trailer footage, so I hope you're enjoying this fully 6 Vice City gameplay that I have recorded for you. So Grand Theft Auto 6 will be set in Vice City, conveniently, and no doubt be a massive sprawling open world game, and with a new, assumedly GTA Online to come later after its launch. Now, based on the trailer, we know that this is going to be a 2 protagonist adventure compared to GTA 5's 3 protagonists, but considering 2024 is almost over and we've heard nothing out of Rockstar, look, it wouldn't surprise me if this gets pushed to 2026. There still could come in 2025 for sure. Like, they could just put out a trailer and just break the internet, you know, literally tomorrow, who knows. But I wouldn't be surprised if this gets pushed to 2026, considering the scale and the perfectionist that comes from Rockstar in their previous titles. I wouldn't be getting my hopes up for GTA 6 in 2025. Now, there's more coming in 2025. Things that we actually know are coming. Nintendo will have a new console coming out. We've basically seen exactly what it looks like. We've seen the specs. The only thing we haven't seen is Nintendo actually announce it. Like, we essentially know everything about it, but what we don't know is the name. Is it the Switch 2, the Super Switch, the Switch U, the Switch Advanced? Who knows? It could be called anything, but we can probably expect some new Nintendo specific games, like a new 3D Mario. Pokemon Legends ZA is coming, probably a new Zelda, maybe, though it does feel too early after Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe an update to Tears of the Kingdom, I hope personally. Plus, we also know that PlayStation and Xbox are working on their own hardware as well. Obviously, we got the launch of the PlayStation Pro at the end of 2024, but we do know that both PlayStation and Xbox are working on their own handheld stuff as well. I don't know if I would expect that in 2025, considering Nintendo are launching their handheld, and that's like the premier handheld. I don't think they want to go up against that, but you could expect some new PC gaming hardware like the ROG Ally 2 or those sort of like PC gaming handhelds to launch throughout 2025 as well. A couple of things that I wanted to touch on here at the end is some games that we'll likely hear more about and see more about, but that we don't have a ton of information, whether it's even coming out in 2025 or anything specific. But, you know, GTA 6 could essentially fit into this category as well. But a couple of things that you'll totally see more about throughout this year, I suspect, is Fable coming from Xbox, as well as Clockwork Revolution, which is one that I am super excited about. I can't wait to see more about what that Wasteland team has been working on. Adamfall is another one that looks like a UK Fallout sort of inspired world that looks really cool. Now, just like a personal thing as well, we have to be getting some new Fallout stuff soon, like a remaster of 3 or a New Vegas. I said this in this video last year, to be honest, but with season 2 of the TV show coming and how popular the TV show was, I would be completely shocked if Xbox and Bethesda aren't working on some sort of New Vegas content, Fallout 3 content, remaster, whatever it actually is, coming to some sort of a Fallout thing soon. Because while Fallout 76 did really well from the TV show, Fallout 4 did okay from the next gen update, nothing makes more money than a remaster or a brand new Fallout game to go alongside your TV show or not long after your TV show. So it's something that I would be paying attention to there. And then even from Bethesda, right, you can expect the Elder Scrolls Online expansion that you get every year, the Ghoul that is coming to Fallout 76 as well. And one thing that I'm personally very keen to know more about, but we probably won't get more about in 2025, is The Witcher 4. I can't wait to see more about what they are cooking, but that's probably going to be 2026 or beyond. But Xbox will likely be holding that early January Dev Direct that I did mention a couple of times throughout this video, and PlayStation also have a bunch of things cooking. They've got Intergalactic, which is Naughty Dog's new game, as well as Ghost of Yotei and some other things that I would fully expect them to be having come out next year. I wouldn't expect Intergalactic next year, by the way, but I would expect Ghost of Yotei to not be the only PlayStation release coming next year, but at this moment it is the only one that we technically know about. But they have a lot of studios that are pretty deep in development cycles that we should be hearing about certain things in the coming future in some sort of big PlayStation showcase. But I would love to know your thoughts on what's coming in 2025 in the comments down below. Did I miss anything off this list? Let me know down below. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza. I hope you have a great day.